Hello to you all and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is gonna be an awkward video to film, oh my goodness, but I feel like it's completely necessary. This will be a video where I reveal to you all and go in depth about my makeup insecurities. I just want to be honest with you guys. I want to be upfront and I want to convey my belief to you that you don't have to be 100% perfect all the time on the internet. You can show your flaws, you can show like the realness. You don't have to be be anybody but yourself. And I hope that this video will help enforce that in you. I hope that this video will help you realize that even more. So the first thing that I am like insecure about when it comes to my makeup, the first thing that I feel like I'm really lacking in skill is false lashes. And yes, I know, I wear false lashes all the time. I just love the look of false lashes. I love the way that they appear on my eyes. And I think that it's great on camera, but I apply my false lashes with my fingers, and there are people that apply the false lashes with the tweezers, and I don't get that. Like, I would be terrified. Like, I am terrified at the prospect, at the idea of applying false lashes with tweezers, so I use my fingers. And I think that I'm a lot better at false lashes than I used to be, than I was even a year ago. But there's still times when I look at footage of myself, when I look at photos of myself, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that false lash looks terrible. Because there's sometimes when I apply my false lash that the middle part of my lash like sort of pops off a little bit. And it kind of like, sometimes you can see like there's like a distinction between like my natural lashes and like the false lashes. Like sometimes the lash like sort of I don't know, has it happened today? I don't think so, but like sometimes the lash looks like separated from like my natural lashes, and that makes no sense, I know. But like the point is, I sometimes look at footage of myself and I'm like, wow, Anya, you totally butchered that lash application. That does not look good whatsoever. And there are times that I have been tempted to completely like just cancel a video because of the way that my lashes looked, and most of the time I have not done that because like I can't like just completely disregard like several hours of footage, you know. I just can't do that. I don't have the time to refilm certain things. So yeah, like I mean, I put those videos up and sometimes I can like edit photos, you know, but lately I've, you know, stopped doing that as much. But yeah, the point is, my lash application is not perfect. My lashes do not always look perfect, and that's a little bit of an insecurity of mine, because in some cases I feel like that's just such an amateur move, because so many people on the internet have perfect looking lashes. Their lashes look phenomenal, and I'm like, well, I can't say that that's me because it isn't. I think that my lashes look like bogus sometimes. So yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing, liquid eyeliner, or actually no, cat eyes. Sometimes I can do a good cat eye, but then it's kind of like awkward trying to like get the cat eye to be like the same on both eyes. And sometimes I literally sit in front of the mirror for like 10 minutes trying to perfect the eyeliner. And sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks bad. Is it salvageable? Yes, most of the time, but there are other times when I look at my eyeliner and I'm like, wow, I have butchered this look. It doesn't always show up on camera because I feel like the camera can be pretty forgiving when it comes to like eyeliner, because I've gotten to the point that I can do eyeliner and that it isn't like terrible, but it's not perfect either. So the camera usually doesn't show too much of that, but like in general, my winged liner application, it's nowhere near to the point that I feel like it's acceptable. I feel like I'm still like struggling at some parts, like at some points with liquid liner especially. Like, it's gotten a lot better, don't get me wrong, but still, it's a thing. It's something that I'm not very secure about, and I wish I could do better on. The next thing that I'm quite insecure about is foundation matching. And I know that is such a rookie thing to be insecure about. But it is. Like, sometimes, like today, it matches pretty well. I do think that today my foundation looks pretty good, But sometimes I've put on foundation and like either I have just done it in bad lighting, or I just have miscalculated or misjudged the way my skin looks at that certain moment or that certain day. But sometimes I do get like a big discrepancy when it comes to like the color on my face versus the color on my neck, you know? And it's kind of embarrassing when you're looking at photos of yourself and you're thinking like, wow, I look like a little rotisserie chicken, you know? So yeah, because sometimes your foundation can look super, super dark and you don't mean it to, but sometimes it just happens. And I feel like when I buff like the foundation into my neck, it helps out with that a lot. But in general, like I have stopped wearing foundation on like a daily basis. Like I hardly wear any makeup at all throughout the week. So it's almost like when I put on makeup, which I don't do very often, but when I put it on, it's kind of like my skin has changed color because like sometimes I have a tan, sometimes I don't. So when my skin like is lighter or when my skin is darker, like I sometimes I don't notice. And then when I put on like foundation, you know, I do notice and I'm like, darn it, you know? And sometimes it's happened that I've put on my foundation in a hurry and I've done the rest of my makeup and then I go out in public to an event and I get photographed and then I look at my face and I'm like, oh my goodness, I look awful, you know? And then another thing is cakey makeup. And I've spoken about cakey makeup at length on my channel before. And a big reason for that is that I have like gone out in makeup that looks good like on camera, you know, like face makeup, but then when I get photographed or when I just look at myself like in the flip down mirror, my face looks cakey. And then I've had like close people to me, like people close to me say that my face looks cakey, and then I look at it and I'm like, oh, wow, I look like cake face. And I've gotten better at this ever since I got back to like putting on my makeup with like a sponge. I don't do this on camera because it actually takes longer for me to do my makeup with a sponge rather than a brush. So on camera, you still see me like put on like makeup, put on my face makeup with brushes. But off camera, I have started using like a sponge. And so long as I sort of like just buff it in and really just blend it out, it looks a lot less cakey. And that is such a relief because for some reason, like when it comes to me, like it is so easy for me to put on foundation and have it look incredibly cakey in real life, which is of course a big no-no. Another insecurity, I know, there's so many of them. Another insecurity that I have has to do with my brows, and it's kind of like to the point that it's gotten better, so you can say that I have like gotten over this insecurity, but my brows are so weird sometimes. Like I have like shaped them in a way that makes them look a lot better, but there's sometimes when I look at my brows in real life and I'm like, okay, yeah, these look good. But then I look at my brows on camera and I'm like, wow, it looks sloppy. Because sometimes like I'm just gonna like lift my bangs here, but sometimes like I have like a heavy like amount of brow product here, and then I have a heavy amount of brow product here. And then like there's like a almost like a bald spot in the middle that I don't notice, but then you see it on camera. And I've had several videos where you see that little bald spot on my brows and I'm like, wow, I look like an amateur. Wow, Anya, you're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. Like, why? You know? Like, why? Sometimes my brows look absolutely terrible. And other times, like, sometimes the product fades a little bit. I've been, like, trying to experiment with ways to, like, make sure that my brow product stays on longer. But there have been times where my brows have faded to the point that this part like completely fades, and then like my brows start pretty much here, and you know they go on and it looks like I have like half a brow, which you know is not necessarily the best thing in life, you know, to have half a brow. You know, it's not too fun. Those were my makeup insecurities for you guys, just airing out my dirty laundry for you on the internet. That sounds familiar. I know that this is kind of like a weird, awkward video to film, but I just wanted to just be real with you guys. I wanted to be honest. I feel like a lot of times I personally almost require myself to be at a certain level of which I'm not. So I feel like this video helps me sort of like look at myself and sort of like reevaluate my perception of myself, because no one is perfect and people on the internet are not perfect either, no matter how hard they try. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful to you, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye guys.